Second time I've ever done that, and it's never worked out. Mariners win 12-1. They improved to 63-56 on the year, and they sweep. They sweep the New York Mets. We're going to go over the scoring plays and try not to make it a Russian novel. But in the second inning, Jorge Polanco homers to center to make it 1-0. Fifth inning, Randy Rosarina reaches on an infield single to score Dominique Canzone, 2-0. And Big Dumper homers to score Randy Rosarina, 4-0 in the middle, the end of the fifth. This game definitely was in Seattle. Sixth inning, the Mets get on the board. Jeff McNeil homers to right center, makes it 4-1. Is right, not right center, but that didn't mean much because in the sixth inning, Leo Rivas singles to right to score Jorge Polanco. Victor Robles reaches on an infield single, and then an air scores 2, 7-1, and Big Dumper hits a 3-run homer to cement the blowout, 10-1. Mariners get a couple more in the seventh because Victor Robles walks with the bases loaded, and Randy Rosarina is hit by a pitch. 12-1, Mariners win. Oh, man. This was as much fun as I've had watching a Mariner game in a long time. Just an absolute hoot. And I hate doing a negative section, but I got two. Number one, the Boston Red Sox hate us. You stupid, stupid franchise. Dunkin' Donuts sucks. Lobster rolls are overrated on the Atlantic Ocean. They're really good here. Well, you know what I mean. Come on. Stinks that they swept this series and gained no ground. Now, didn't lose any ground and look great doing it. Gosh, I would have liked a little bit of help there. And of course, the negative from this game is, look, it's fantastic that Julio Rodriguez is back. Fantastic. I don't understand not having him do a rehab assignment. And tonight was a pretty good example of why you usually have a guy who misses that much time do a rehab assignment. 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. Now, I'll put it into a positive thing too. Fouled a couple of balls hard, just missed on a couple. His timing's off. Of course his timing's off. He's been off for 3 weeks. Right? I think it was July 21st. Yeah, pretty darn close to 3 weeks. So yes, it stinks that Julio had the bad day. I'm sure he wanted to get off to a much better start than this. I'm glad it didn't hurt him, his bad day didn't hurt the Mariners even a little bit. But, 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts is a really bad day. A really bad day. I don't understand why you don't have him go play a couple games in Everett before getting back here. They're smarter than me, but what can you do? You know who's a lot smarter than me is Simply Seattle, because they have the very best in Seattle sports gear. They have great stuff for the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Storm, the Sounders, Seahawks, all sorts of great stuff. Once you find your stuff, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. It automatically takes it off. You just enter it at checkout. There's a link in the description. You click the link, you copy and paste MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWOP15 if you just want to have it burned in your brain like I do. It's very much appreciated. And thank you so much to simplyseattle.com for all of their help with this show and for Mollywop Monday. I cannot wait for Mollywop Monday tomorrow. Cannot wait. I mean, where do you even start with the positives? Let's go backwards, right? Congrats to Troy Taylor. Welcome to Seattle. Now, look, he was overthrowing, and he does issue the walk. You saw how electric that stuff is. Man, even David Cohn was just so impressed with how much movement that guy was getting on his fastball. And, sure, came in as low of leverage situation as possible. In fact, the only way it could be a lower leverage situation is if you were down by 11 instead of up, right? But that's the perfect time to bring in a guy for his MLB debut. And you saw that stuff, man. Oh, it's filthy. It is filthy. I'm excited to see what Troy Taylor can do for the rest of the year. I'm even more excited for the long term. And my Hawaii enthusiasts know that I've been high on this guy for a while. I think you understood why. Good hair, too. He's got the nice curls in the back. Yeah. Austin Voth did a nice job. Colin Snyder is just awesome. Somebody said that they wanted me to do a 20-minute video on how good Colin Snyder is. I told you. I get a lot of things wrong, but I was not wrong about Colin Snyder. He has been such a helper. It's kind of weird that they used him today, to be honest with you, but somebody's got to pitch. Somebody's got to pitch. Before I get into Luis Castillo and then the offense, the other big positive to me was just how awesome it was to see a game like this on Sunday Night Baseball. I could have ended with this, but I kind of want to end with the big positives, the things that actually matter, the tangible stuff. It was great. It's been 20 years. And I understand why it's been 20 years. Number one, they haven't been very good. Number two, it's a pain in the tuchus. It's not convenient. But it was really fun. It was really fun. Graham and I watched from the second inning on. I had some stuff to do before, but from the second inning on, we watched it, and we got such a kick out of this game. Of course, it could have been on any channel, and we would have gotten a kick out of a 12-1 game. But seeing that on Sunday Night Baseball with my grandma, it's really cool. It's really cool. Luis Castillo was sensational. Did he take advantage of the shadows? I don't care. This stuff was good. The movement on his pitches today was just nasty. Luis Castillo is so good and doesn't get nearly enough credit for how good he is. And you're starting pitching all weekend just freaking shoved. Shoved. One earned run. He left a cookie cutter in the middle to Jeff McNeil. Outside of that, oh my gosh, Luis Castillo was good. And you know what? He had to battle some early command issues. He had to battle that command issues, and I'm not a very good umpire either. A couple of calls that were, I think, didn't go their way. A couple of calls that didn't go their way on the other side too. But I thought Luis Castillo was fantastic. And I'm not surprised. I never am. He's one of the most underrated players in baseball. Not just pitchers, players. Sensational start. The Mariners did not need to score 12 today. They needed 2. And Luis Castillo, man, what a pickup he was. What an unbelievably great pickup he was. There's so many positives offensively. Leo Rivas laying down a great bunt and a great look. I am not normally a sack bunt fan. I don't like giving up outs. I especially don't like giving up outs when you're a bad offense. Like, playing a shorter game and having less chances to score doesn't usually make a whole lot of sense to me. But in that situation, a perfect time for a sack bunt. It was a 1-0 game. Runs looked like they were going to be at a premium. And he laid down a beauty. Then he gets the RBI hit. He draws the walk. Look, do I want Leo Rivas starting at shortstop for the Seattle Mariners? Heavens no. Heavens no. But I think he's done enough to contribute to be like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, this isn't ideal, but you can take some positives out of what he's done. Just, get well, JP. Victor Robles gets on a couple times. Randy gets on a couple times. That RBI hit, look, it was 1-0. And after Rivas, lays down that great bunt, Victor Robles strikes out on a filthy pitch from Luis Severino. He had really good stuff for most of this game, and then it fell apart late. But there's 2 outs. There's a runner on third. A Rosarina just hits that little chopper. But you saw what athleticism does. You saw what his speed did, because it clearly rushed one of the best shortstops to, this is going to sound hyperbolic, one of the best shortstops I've ever seen in my life, and it's not even close. It's a weird thing to say, I guess, but just because it's not even close, whatever. Francisco Lindor is phenomenal, and he clearly had to rush that throw because Randy was going out of the gate. Maybe gets him if he fields it cleanly. Maybe. But you put extra pressure on your defense when you got somebody like that chugging. That was a big play. He draws the walk. He gets hit by the pitch. He's been absolutely phenomenal since rejoining this team. Or joining this team. Polanco, 3 for 5. The big homer to get him on the board. The double, scores a couple of runs. I've just been so much more encouraged by Polanco. So much more encouraged. Great game from him. Josh Rojas gets on a couple times, scores a couple of runs. Dominic Canzone with a couple of doubles and showed the ability to hit it hard to both parts of the field. Great to see him contribute. Everybody but Julio contributed today. And I'm not going to bash Julio. This is not the video for it. And there never will be a Julio bashing video. I love it. Just wonder why you don't have a rehab assignment there. By the way, I'm not usually one of these people who is one of those, the Mariners get no respect. The Mariners get this. I still laugh my you-know-what off when I think about the fact that the Mariners got a D+ grade for trading Ryan Stanek. And I'm not rooting against Ryan Stanek. I certainly wasn't rooting for him today. You just don't know what you're talking about if you thought that it was a bad trade for the Mariners. Ryan Stanek had no place on the Seattle Mariners. None whatsoever. Addition by subtraction. And I hate saying that because it's a really mean thing to say. And it's not like Ryan Stanek I don't know if he's a good person or not. But oh boy, he's bad right now. Really bad. A D+ grade. And they gave them a B- for the Jimmy Garcia trade, as if Jimmy Garcia and Ryan Stanek are the same. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You flat out don't know what you're talking about. You're bad at this. You know who you are. I don't know you personally, but boy, you got to get better. You got to get better because you're making a lot of money. You're making a lot of money, bud. Big dumper. I talked about things that I get things wrong sometimes, but I've never been more right about Cal Raleigh. I've been infatuated with Cal Raleigh since he was at Florida State. And look, there's been some ups and downs, and he looked absolutely lost his first time through the majors. Lost. And then he gets called up, and things aren't going very well, and he gets sent back down, and then he gets recalled up. And since then, he's been, I don't know, just one of the top 3 or 4 catchers in baseball. And he's only going to get better. Just a star performance. I wanted him to get that grand slam. Graham and I, when we saw the ball get in the air, we were talking about something, as you do. You're paying attention, but every once in a while just start to have a conversation, and we see that ball get in the air, and we both just kind of, not even close, but boy, we wanted it. But man, what a fantastic game from a fantastic baseball player. Do what you got to do. Sign this dude. I don't know if you can overpay him. And Luke Raley had a couple of nice at-bats too. I knew I was somebody who got on base a couple times that I didn't talk about. What a series. You thoroughly dominated the New York Mets over this series. There was no come from behind. There was no fluky things. There was no bases loaded late walk. No, you were just the much better baseball team against a team that's played pretty darn well lately. Look at the Mets, what they were doing before they came to Seattle, right? They won 2 of 3 against Colorado. They had to play a weird makeup game against St. Louis that they won. They won 2 of 3 against Minnesota. They did lose 2 of 3 against the Angels, but they've been playing pretty darn good baseball. And you just beat the crap out of them, especially today. And if you're not pumped after a series like that, maybe baseball is just not your favorite thing. And that's okay. There's lots of things to like in baseball or like in life. I cannot tell you how pumped I am. Every once in a while, and look, I'm a 41-year-old man who writes about baseball for a living, baseball and football, and who talks on the radio about it. And, does that affect your fanhood? You bet your you-know-what. Second you-know-what of the video. You better believe it does, right? But every once in a while, there are games like this, and sometimes there's games on the other side of the spectrum that bring out that fanhood in you and either make you laugh or cry laughing because it's so great or because it's so. Today was one of those days. This series was one of those series. So now what do you got? You got 3 games. You got Monday off. Kind of wish they played tomorrow. You know, I want them to get their rest, but I kind of wish they played tomorrow. And then you get 3 against the Detroit Tigers, who you didn't play great against last time. You got another Kirby versus Skubal. That's going to be tough. And then you got 3 in Pittsburgh. By the way, Logan Gilbert versus Paul Skeens. It's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But Pittsburgh's a pretty solid baseball team. And then 3 against the Dodgers. I think you need to go 5-4 on this road trip. You know, anything better, great. If you go 4-5, let's take a look at what Houston's going to do too, because I think this is important now that we have to start doing the scoreboard watching. Obviously, they technically control their own destiny, right? In part because they have the tiebreaker. But after they've won 5 straight, they've got 3 against Tampa Bay, you know, in Tampa Bay, and then 3 against the White Sox. They've got a little bit of a tough schedule after that coming up, though, because they got, and I know they just beat the crap out of Boston, but I'm not going to say anything positive about Boston. Then there's 4 in Baltimore, and then 3 in Philadelphia. Then 3 against Kansas City to go into 4 against Kansas City, to go into September. I think advantage Mariners schedule wise. And I think you have to start paying attention to that stuff. Ultimately, just win. But I do think you got to start paying attention to some of that stuff. Nothing we can control. There's nothing we can control about the Mariners playing their games. We have nothing to do with it. Unless like Luis Castillo or Cal Raleigh, if you're watching these videos, thank you so much. I'm such a big fan. But probably not. You're probably just a normal guy or gal just like me. Probably a little more handsome or a little more attractive, but not much. This is coming in nicely. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, despite all of that. Really appreciate the support. Man, this was awesome. This was just awesome.